Hey, Chaz, we're live right now. We didn't have any introduction. Man, people just don't know what we have to go through when it comes to this broadcast. But hopefully, you're not going to be echoing, and neither am I. But those who are out there, when you tune in, if we're having an echo or something, just let us know. But it sounds good on my end, and you say I sound good to you, right?
Yes, sir. And last week we had the same question where it sounded good on the air, and then when we got off, it was terrible. So we're hoping that it sounds a little bit better. I got my headphones in, like the Chat GPT said, and like I said, brother, yesterday you and brother Kevin's on the YouTube page, y'all were silent. So something is going on, and I'm not gonna say anything, but something's going on, bro.
Yeah, I know there's a boogeyman under the bed, but we're going to see how we sound.
Okay.
Sister Rashonda, she just came in and she said no echoing.
Okay.
So that may mean all systems go. So let's go into it. This broadcast can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. It can be seen at 7 o'clock on the East Coast and the Midwest. So we're going to pick up where we left off from last week because we got a lot to talk about. And again, we can't apologize enough. But the bottom line is we're here tonight and it sounds like everything is good. So we might as well start talking about our subject matter. And that's this, Chaz, before we start putting our comments up. Chaz, why do people need encouragement, man?
Because we're going through a terrible time. A lot of people are saying that it's the end of the world. A lot of people just depressed. A lot of people losing their jobs. Just a lot of people are going through so much. And nobody, not if you're not famous, but the regular Joe, the regular woman that goes to these 9-to-5s, they're not getting any compliments. And it's getting them into depression. They're taking these meds. So we have to keep harping on this because in these times, brother, we need some kind of push or encouragement.
Yeah, I think that's true because we've been pushed down so many years, and even in our families, our friends, it's so much negativity, and we just got to cut that. Now, there are some things that we have to deal with that are negative, but for the most part, Chaz, we're just people that's looking for anything negative to say, and we don't say enough kind words, and that's why this broadcast is dedicated today. This broadcast is dedicated to, we just want to say some things about when we encourage people, what it does, because that's important, Chaz. So the first thing we're going to put up, and I want you to take it away, and this is this.
It says, number one, encouragement helps people believe in themselves. Exactly. Through childhood, a lot of us as kids, or when we were growing up in elementary, middle, and high school, we got teased a lot. We got joned on, and constantly we keep hearing this. The news media tells us that we're nothing, that we're scums, we're garbage. So we keep hearing this over and over and over. And once again, when you encourage somebody, that lifts up their self-esteem. Our nervous system is always in this fight or flight, anger and depression kind of mode. So with these encouragement or kind words that you may think means nothing, but to that other person, brother, that means a lot to them.
Yeah, and this is why a lot of times as a people, African Americans, we don't like to do anything. We complain about our problems, and we should, but we don't like to do the other part, which is do something because we don't believe in ourselves, Chaz. We're so negative that we don't like to do anything but complain. And this is why this broadcast is important, because we want you to know tonight that we believe in you, and you should believe in yourself, because that's where it all starts. You got to have some type of character, some type of identity, and you just have to be honest about what we're dealing with right now.
Sister Sharon Fires in here. She says, hey, y'all, it's been a while. Well, no problem. You always welcome to come in whenever you get the chance. We appreciate you for logging in today. Yeah. Number two, encouragement gives people strength during difficult times. And I literally just said that a lot of us, the average Joe, the average woman is going through so much hell in their life, depression, taking medications, always in these slumps where we feel like there is no hope. So when you encourage that individual, once again, it boosts their self-esteem. And in fact, some of these times are so difficult, brother. Some of us don't think we can get out of it. It's that deep. It's that dark. It's that bad. So that's why I say encouragement is needed through these difficult times.
Yeah, encouragement is needed during these difficult times. But unfortunately, many of us, we don't even like to accept encouragement. We can't take a positive word that someone gives to us. But we're all going through so much, like you said. And so we just want to take a few weeks to just tell people, we know you're going through. We're not saying that we have all the answers, but we know that all of us have difficult times and we have things going on in our lives that we just need to sit back and say, you know what, I can get through this. And sometimes we just need encouragement because that gives you strength. When you say to me, big brother, you can do this. Sometimes I feel like I can't do it. But then when people say, yes, you can, it kind of helps me. And this is why we need to pull each other up instead of always pushing each other down. Even on these podcasts, when you look at many of them, they're arguing, they're beefing, they're fighting, they're fussing. We just want to take time out and say, pump your brakes. And we want you to know that we want to encourage everyone that's watching this broadcast. And we want you to know that you can make it through these difficult times. You've made it before, so you can make it through these difficult times.
Yeah, but a lot of people, brother, when they go through these new difficult times, they always think that this is the one that's going to break the camel's back. Sister Barbara fires in here. She says, Hotep brothers. We appreciate her for firing in here as well.
We need strength, Chazz. You know, a lot of us say a lot of different things that we need, but we really need strength because some of us are weak, man. We're just weak because we've been beaten up all our lives, kicked in the teeth, drug in the mud. Everybody's told us we're nothing. The educational system said we can't do it. You know, everybody's just telling us all this negativity. And sometimes we got to stop and push back and say, yes, we can, but it's us. We're the ones that have to give the encouragement. I don't look for no one else that doesn't look like me to give me encouragement. If they do, that's fine, but I'm not banking on that. I need people that look like me to say kind words to me instead of always putting me down. So brothers and sisters, encouragement, it gives you strength, especially when you're going through hard times.
I got a question real quick, brother, before we move on to this one. What do you tell a person who says, for example, a lot of people are, walking around in their cell phones or constantly with their head down, so they're not really looking to mingle or talk to people. What do you say to an individual who is struggling to find encouragement? No one sees them. They feel like they're invisible and they can't get any kind of compliments. How does a person find it if people are refusing to speak nowadays?
Beautiful question, Chazz. What I say to the person like that is look within yourself, because you're not going to always get encouragement. I don't always get encouragement. So that shouldn't break the camel's back. We must look deep within ourselves and find out that as a people, we can do what we want to do when it comes to being the people that we're made to be. We no longer should allow people to tell us what we can't do. We should be saying what we can do. We should be very positive. We should say kind words to one another. And when even we don't say kind words to one another, look into our hearts and say to ourselves, if I don't get a kind word, I'm going to say something kind in my own heart to myself, because I need to look at myself in the mirror many days and motivate my own self, even when the world doesn't want to do it. So we have to understand that encouragement, it helps reduce a lot of that fear, like this point is saying, a lot of that fear and doubt. It's because we haven't been encouraged, so we don't think we can do anything.
And it's gotten so bad to where I've even caught myself doing this, to where you've been down so much that when someone does encourage you, you think that they're trying to be funny. You think that they're trying to take some kind of jab at you. So that goes to show you in society where when people have been neglected and ignored for so long, that when someone is genuinely happy for you, you think that that's a jab. This is where we are in society, and it has to be talked about.
That's really good, man. That's really good. What about this one, Chazz?
Number 4, encouragement motivates people to keep trying after failure. And it does. I mean, if you have a daughter, a nephew, a aunt, or just anybody that tells you, it's okay that you got that pink slip at your job. It's okay that, you and your wife broke up or what have you. That extra motivation is going to help, because once again, once we fail, a lot of us think that this is it. We're done. We don't want to get up anymore. We're just through. So you have to have that kind of encouragement to say, yeah, I failed. And I may have to take a couple of days off or even a week or a month off, but I'm going to keep pushing through it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I wanted to chime in and say too. If you're out there and you're watching this broadcast and you know that what we're saying is true about your life, because it's true about our lives, and you know that you have fallen, because we all fall, we want to say to you, get back up. Your finances may not be where they want to be. Now, we're not going to be doing like some of these idiots that tell you money is coming and all that. We're not talking about that. We're saying that no matter what you're going through, when you fail, get back up and keep going. Tell your children that. Tell your grandchildren that. Tell your family members that. When you see somebody with a long face and they're sullen, go to them and tell them what's going on. They're going to tell you. When they tell you, don't sit down and make it worse by telling them, yep, I was like that too. You say to them, I hear what you're going through, but let me give you some kind words. We have lost this, Chazz. We don't even want to say kind words to people when we see they're struggling. We see they're miserable, but we should be the type of people, after all we've been through, we should be willing to tell each other, no matter what happens to you, keep going. You can do it. You can do it, Chazz. No matter what happens to you, you can do it, man.
I got to take a page out of your book real quick. Now, for the people who do go to church, like you just mentioned, they are down. They were really looking for funds, and financially, they just don't have any. And some of these preachers sit up here and tell these people, if you sow $100 or $150,000 in this church, God is going to bless you back this, and that. And when it doesn't happen, it gets people to go off in the deep end and commit suicide. So once again, some of these people don't have enough discernment to say, you know what, that's not true. Even if I do give this guy, I don't know, $50 because he needs help with the lights and stuff on in his congregation, that does not mean that I'm going to get all this back. But when these people who are financially destitute are looking for that and they don't get it, it sends them off into a depression. I just say it's a shame on the preachers who preach like that. Brother Raymond, he fires in here. What's going on, Ray? He says Black Power.
And I want to talk about that for a second, because he always comes on and he says Black Power. Little does he know, that's a beautiful thing, because power is what we're talking about now. Power is when no one encourages you and you encourage yourself. Power is when you're going through and somebody that's, you know, it says a kind word to you to keep you going. That's power. See, power is from within. Even though we know there's economic power, you know, there's business power, there's educational power, there's political power, but the power we're talking about now is the power to motivate your own self so that when you have difficult times, you know that you can get through, brothers and sisters. And that's all we're going to harp on today. We're going to sound like, you know, two broken records, but we're beating dead horses. But we have to continue to allow people to know we're here for you, and we have to have this kind of attitude.
Absolutely. Sister Sharon fires in here. She says, we should, but as a race of African Americans, we always putting each other down instead of uplifting. And that is, like we just mentioned, on a lot of these broadcasts on YouTube or all over TV, all over in the Black community, all over on the news, all over by the police, all these avenues, all these places are tearing us down, never saying anything good. And here's the sad part. The only time we get something good, for the most part, is when people see us in our casket. That's the only time people want to come out and say something. And I get angry at that, because it's a shame that it takes a man or a woman to die for you to take your behind to a funeral and say all this stuff. This is terrible. But like the sister said, it is only us Blacks, for the most part, that are constantly tearing each other down but don't want to lift anybody up.
And I just have a word of encouragement even to Sister Sharon, because I know she's telling the truth. We know she's spot on. And I just want to encourage everyone, when we are around these negative Nancys, when we're around all these negative people, where every time we look around, they're being negative, all we can say is, we can chime in and say, well, you can think that way, but this is what I'm thinking. Like if you and I are at somewhere and you're negative and you're putting someone down, especially when you don't need to, or you're jealous or you're envious. And I'm just going to say to you, well, Chazz, I hear what you're saying, but I don't feel that way, man, because everybody needs a leg up. Everybody needs a handout. Everybody needs a kind word. So we're the trendsetters. We're the ones that's going to have to keep on telling people and encouraging them.
Brother Raven, he fires in here. He says, Chazz sounds great today. I appreciate you, Brother Ray.
I think we're back. That's why we're talking fast. I think we're trying to make up for lost time for all these weeks. But I think we fixed this thing, and we are firing away at a gorilla tonight.
We appreciate you, Ray. Sister Sharon fires in here. She says, we have to break the chains of that negativity. Exactly, because as we grew up as kids, a lot of our aunts and aunties and uncles and cousins, you know, we lived with them and went over to their house, and all they did on the phone was gossip for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours on the phone about people. And as a kid, we internalized that, growing up hearing that, and now we're regurgitating it. So this sister's comment, I would say it's going to take us some deprogramming to get this out of us, because we're so used to hearing our aunts just dog people out on the phone and stuff. So we have to basically deprogram this out of our system.
Yeah, and we have to be the ones who start it, you know, because we know it's going on all around us. It's going on, but we have to be the ones who break the chains. And she's right. We're the ones going to have to tell people, you know what? I'm just not going to be that way. You know, I don't have a reason to dog somebody out because they're going through, because you never know what a person is going through. We may look good on the outside, but inside, Chazz, a lot of us are broken. A lot of us are weak. A lot of us are sick. A lot of us have a lot of emotional issues. A lot of us have psychological issues, but we don't want people to know that. So we mask. We wear the mask to make people think we're doing great. But the bottom line is, every one of us, and those people out there that's watching this broadcast, we love you to death. But a lot of us, We're fronting, Chazz. We're hurting. We're hurting, man, and we don't understand how important encouragement is. It'll lift you up, man. It'll lift you up if you just allow, like the sister says, to break these chains and realize that encouragement, it's going to motivate you when you have failed, especially when you have fallen and everybody comes to you and say, oh, Chazz, man, that's not that bad. Come on, man, let's do this. Let's keep going. Then that's going to make you want to go better, do better, I should say, as opposed to everybody telling you, yep, I knew it was going to happen to you. Yep, that's what you get in all this old negativity.
Absolutely. Brother Ray, excuse me, he fires in here. He says the creator God doesn't need man-made money. Yeah, and then he also says black people have to learn to use conflict between us in a more productive way. I want to preview that other comment that he said, and that's true. God doesn't need money, but the fact that these preachers are so crafty, they're so slick, they're so conniving, they're so naive. They play on the people with that because they know all they have to do is promise them that God is going to give them something, and they know 9 times out of 10 these preachers are going to be making racks and hand over fist. So that's why they do that. And that's a shame. And this brother sees the same thing going on as well.
Yeah, see, what I don't get about it is instead of encouraging people, see, people go thinking that's encouragement, but that's stressful, man. That's stressful when they say, well, I got a good word today. When that word say you're going to get something and you don't get it. And so they look at it as if it's an encouragement, but when they don't get it, it's stressful. So it pulls us down. So we need to start beginning to think for ourselves, especially in the line of encouraging, because we got to start saying kind words to people, man.
And I want to add this real quick on the last one. And then the other part is that when the person comes back, this is preacher, that word didn't come through this week. You said I was going to get this house or this new car, this new pay raise. That didn't happen. Then he kicks the can down the road. Then he says, well, you're not having enough faith. Well, you got to, pray harder. All these mental gymnastics. So each time the person comes back saying, you lied to me, brother, he keeps kicking it down the road. And this is just the cycle that goes back and forth, and nothing ever gets resolved. He also fires in here. He says, Brother Ray says, white pastors don't pay tithes and offerings. He's on tonight. Brother Ray is crazy, man. Sister Sharon fires in here. She says, worst thing you can do as a black person while they're down, that sometimes causes serious damage control in mental health. That it really does. People's mental health are already messed up. In fact, we have a holiday that celebrates our mental health. Go getting checked in, talking to a person, getting their mental health checked. But like this sister saying, when you constantly are promising people things and these things aren't coming to pass, it tears people's mental health up. So this has got to be talked about. And I appreciate her comment as well.
Yeah, she says the worst thing that you can do is kick a person while they're down. And that is so vital because a lot of us don't know anything but to kick each other when we're down. We don't have the wherewithal. So this broadcast is not about kicking people when they're down. It's about saying that many of us have that issue, but we won't do it. See? We're not going to kick you while you're down. We're going to try and lift you up. We're going to pull you up. Sometimes we're going to jerk you up because you're so down deep in the mud that you don't feel like you can be helped. But every one of us, we can be helped. Our psyche has to be changed, and it all comes through by way of just simply encouraging one another because we all need that, man.
Our brother Ray fires in here again. He says, why don't the pastors and preachers pay tithes and offerings like everybody else in the church? Well, because they put their kids and stuff through private schools, getting these fancy jets and fancy limousines and stuff off of the congregation's money. That's why they're not doing it, because they're tricking the people. Number 5, encouragement can improve a person's confidence. Exactly. Now, this isn't to tease anyone, but for the dark-skinned people or the people who have been teased about being heavyset, or for the people who have been teased about being short, all of these so-called negative complexes that have been beaten down to us, giving a person encouragement does improve their confidence because everybody's teasing them, making fun of them, saying that they're nothing. And when you constantly say, brother, I don't care what they're saying about your haircut, it looks nice to me. That does a 180 to that individual. And here's a quick part, and I'll pass it back. Do you know sometimes a small encouragement can stop someone from jumping off of a bridge or committing suicide? That's how low people are getting. And when they get that compliment, it'll sometimes stop them from doing, the dark act.
Chazz, I work with children, and sometimes when we talk, all they want is to be encouraged, because at home, see they getting beaten down a lot. But they don't realize that most of us are big kids. If children need encouragement, we need encouragement too. But we as an adult people, we think that we're beyond that. We think that we don't need to encourage people. We just look at them with, like jealous eyes and motives, trying to see what we can do, trying to see how we can, do something to try to stifle what they're doing. But the African American community, when we're all involved in this, we've got to do a much better job of lifting one another up. Many of us don't want to listen to this kind of conversation, Chazz. Many of us will turn a deaf ear, a blind eye to brothers talking about the importance of encouraging. Encourage your children, encourage your boyfriend, encourage your girlfriend, encourage your spouse, encourage your grandchildren, encourage your friends. Quit putting everybody down all the time. And that's all of us. We got to take a page out of our own book. We have to start encouraging us, because right now, Chazz, with the way the world is going now, the way everything is going against us, the way religion is going against us, the way politics is going against us, the way education is going against us, the way everything is just going against us. This is what we need to get back on that road. We don't need, like Bob Marley says, we don't need no more trouble, man. We need love to guide and protect us on. If the people that are strong should help the weak, because that's how we're going to get strong. We don't need any more trouble, man. We really don't.
We sure don't. And like I said, this is for all races, Russians, Chinese, all those races, they're included as well. But we want to specifically talk about the blacks, because it seems like for some reason through decades on top of decades, the black man and the black woman has been put down so low that they have to be reminded about getting encouragement, because they're not getting it. They're getting beaten down so much day after day. Number 6, encouragement reminds people that they are not alone. Yeah, and that's why some people, I'm not here to tease or mock, this is why some people go to therapy, because they're looking for someone to kind of see eye to eye where they are. They need someone to give them some kind of positive feedback. Now, once again, if you go to therapy, you have the money, that's good. But if you don't have that money for therapy, these are this is an individual who's looking for some kind of outlet. And when you hear that somebody else is going through the same problem as you, it actually boosts your self-esteem as well.
Yeah, and when you think about it, Chazz, it says here, encouragement reminds people that they are not alone. We said this last week, and I want to rewind the tape and kind of bite off of it again. Sometimes when we go through tough situations, we actually think that we are the only one going through. And this is why we know that. People often say this. They often say, y'all just don't know what I'm going through. Well, we'll never know what you're going through, because we're not you. We don't have your emotions. We don't have your psychology. But a lot of people, that's how you know that many of us don't understand. You are not alone. Chazz, people go through things every day. So it's not a matter of what you go through. I'm putting it on a scale with what I go through. And now I'm saying, well, Chazz, because you're going through so much, you don't even know what I'm. See, that's a cop-out, because we want a pity party. It ain't about what we're going through, putting them on scales. We're saying no matter what we go through, there should be someone there to encourage us. And oftentimes than not, it's just not enough encouragement, Chazz. And that's why a lot of us are having issues, because we don't realize that encouragement it comes from the heart. Yeah, it has to come from the heart, because a lot of that superficial crap, it doesn't last. You encourage somebody to their face, and as soon as you get out of their presence, you talk about them like a dog. This is the stuff that we have to start continuing to talk about. So again, we got to understand, man, that this is important.
Brother Ray Fires in here. He says, if you are a black person and you are seeking mental therapy, you should look for people who specialize in black psychology. Yeah, because for the most part, the black man and the black woman, we can identify with each other. We know what's going on with the race, the constant brutality, constant getting shot down like dogs. So for the most part, the black on black is a good thing to see, to recognize you a black man, I'm a black man, or she's a black woman, she's going to see another black woman. That's how you identify as a race. And it's something good to see. And I agree with this comment.
And I'm going to say this too. I don't care who you go to from the standpoint of, I do want you to go to a black psychologist. I'm not saying not to. What I'm saying is, when you do go to whoever you go to, if they're negative, you got to cut that loose, man. You can't just go to them because of how they look. You got to listen to what they're saying, man. If they're saying some things that's going to encourage you and help you, then of course you ride it out. But some of these people, man, in these fields, it's just about money. And I'm not saying all of them because they're not all like that. But when you go to a person and you're trying to pour your heart out to them and all you get is negative feedback, you got to stop going to them. You got to stop going to them, man. You really do. And somebody has to say that. They really do.
You really do. I think we already talked about that one. Okay, here we go. You have number 7. Encouragement helps children work harder at home and at school. Exactly. Now, some of the people who have children, some of the kids may be getting bad report cards or acting up in class. We've all been there, done that. So as a parent, we shouldn't act like that's something new or overly criticize or overly whoop them or overly, discipline them. Tell them, you know what, Fred or Sally, I don't appreciate you getting these school bad grades, but you are smart. You're not dumb. You're not illiterate. You are great. But see, what happens is they hear that from their friends at school. They hear that from the teachers. They hear that from the principal. And then when they go home, it's magnified times 6. So what do you think that's going to do to a child? So I'm saying for the people who have children, if your kid is cutting up at school, I'm not condoning it, but teach them with a level head instead of overly whooping them and overly putting them through the mud. We have to encourage them so they don't slip into a depression.
You're right, Chazz, because encouragement helps children work harder at home and at school. When someone does something around the house, let's say we're teaching a child how to sweep, and let's say that child first time they don't do a good job. So what we would do, instead of saying, wow, that's pretty good. Now, we're not lying to them. This is your first time sweeping. Let me show you some other things, but that's pretty good. That goes a long way. But we'll say, give me that broom. You know, good SOB. We belittle them, man. It's like, I almost think that we as adults, we have some problems that are unmatched. We have problems that's unmatched because we can't have a simple conversation on how to encourage each other. At school, like you mentioned, they're already being bullied, many of them. They're already being teased, many of them. They don't need that when they get around their relatives. They don't need people to be talking about them and putting them down. No matter what they do, we need to encourage children. And that's why a lot of our children they're withdrawn now because they don't want to be around people. They're tired of that, man.
Yeah, they are. And once again, our little loved ones, they can get depressed. And I want to say this, the older I get, and don't get me wrong, we should discipline our kids. We should let them know we mean business. We should let them know that this stuff is severe. But I think we're over, once again, because we grew up, every time you look around, we getting a whooping. Every time you look around, we're getting hit with a skillet. We have to be more lenient and be very, very cautious because their minds and hearts are so fragile. Any little thing could set them off. So we have to, what you call, discipline them with love, but stop looking to doing it 24/7 and stop whooping these kids so much.
And I think Brother Raymond was right when he talked about this whole ideal of psychology and people need to talk to people. Many of us adults, and I'm going to just be frank. I'm not going to play games tonight. I'm going to be honest. Okay. Many of us adults, Chazz, we're sick. We really are. We don't see it that way though, because we have jobs, we have homes, apartments, automobiles, we have a little chump change in the bank. But a lot of us are sick, man, because we don't understand the importance of encouraging one another. That's where it's all at, you see. But yet we don't think that's important. And as Raymond says on this point here, I'll let you say something about it, but I want to say something because this right here is important, what he says.
Brother Raymond fires in here. He says, positive affirmations are so important and underrated. He's absolutely right. Actually telling yourself, now some people get a journal and they write it down. They say, I am good looking and I am smart, I am sharp. If that's what you want to do, you can do it on a notebook, but I believe in saying it in your own mind. I am intelligent. I am strong. I am resilient. Telling yourself these things will actually put you in a better mood. And he's absolutely right. It's underrated because I guess on TV, a lot of people aren't promoting this and a lot of people in the news aren't. So it is underrated from that aspect.
And that's why I want to jump on the train at that part, at the caboose, the last part where it says underrated. I want to jump on that because it's underrated because we don't talk about it enough. We talk about sports, we talk about politics, we talk about religion, we talk about relationships, we talk about food, we talk about exercise, we talk about everything, but we don't talk about the importance of positive affirmations. We don't tell each other, you know what, man, you are a good encourager, man. Every time I hear you talking, man, you're always trying to lift somebody up. I think that's wonderful. See, we don't think about that. We want to talk about what's going on in the NFL, And all that has its time and place. Don't get me wrong. It all has its time and place. We'd rather talk about what's going on in the NFL, the NBA, the Major League Baseball, hockey, what reality TV is saying, Steve Harvey, the singers, the rappers, the politicians, our brothers, our sisters. See, we don't want to say, okay, because I'm going to ask you this, Chazz, and I might have to drop the mic and get up out of here and leave you alone and just let you do the rest of it by yourself. I'm going to ask you this right now. Okay. When is the last time you heard somebody say to somebody else, like say two men or two women, one of them say to the other person, you are a good encourager. I really like how you always trying to help people. But how many times have you heard this one? You are so negative. You hear it all the time because that's how we are, is what I'm saying. See,
yeah, and I was going to say I haven't heard it in a while. It sounds or Chinese. I haven't heard that in a long time.
You're not going to hear it because now you're going to start hearing it now because we should be hearing it because as a people we're beginning to teach that now this broadcast should be changing the lives of many people. They should be looking at this broadcast and saying, I'm going to take the truth of what Chazz and Jahi is saying. All that other stuff they saying, I'm going to forget it. But the stuff that they're saying, all the truths, all the principles, all of these things that they're saying that's positive, I want to put that in my life. And so we should start doing these things instead of just talking about them.
Absolutely. Well said. As number 8 proceeds, it says encouragement helps people overcome sadness or stress. Now, here's the thing. Now, I always talk about people going to funerals and showing up. But even though I would kind of say it's kind of fake, if you will, no, it really is because it takes something as terrible as that for us to get these little words of encouragement. But patting someone on the back saying, I know you're going through a tough time. Your uncle just passed, or your mom or your sister or whoever. Those words of encouragement as they're bawling their eyes out. That will help them because these people are going through a lot at that funeral. They're frustrated. They don't know what to do. And here's the sad part. After they leave sometimes, that's where all the hell starts because people are trying to fight. Yeah. People are trying to fight over who left what to who.
Yeah,
I feel like you cheating me because my mama gave me this and that. This is all the foolishness that goes on at funerals. But once again, to get back to the point, encouragement helps people in those terrible times of need, especially after you've lost someone.
And Chazz, that's important because when you look at it, all of us have moments when we're sad. So we can't sit up on this broadcast, and neither are we trying to sit up on this ivory tower and make people think that this doesn't apply to us. But what I'm saying from a human perspective is this: everybody experiences sadness at some point in time in their life, and everybody experiences stress. What I'm saying though is this: when we encourage people who are sad or stressed out, it's going to help them feel better, man. This is a psychological stimulation that it helps us. That's what it does. It boosts us. You know how you drink some coffee sometime or something that has caffeine in it? It boosts you, But see, we rather look for dope. We rather look for beer. We want something else to stimulate us. But instead of you stimulating me when I'm sitting down with my face contorted, you say, what's wrong, John? Oh, Chazz, man, I want to do this, but I can't do it because of that. And you say, well, don't worry about it, bro. Maybe it's not for you right now, but hey, don't get down on it. Instead of me saying, you know what, man, that makes it. Thanks, brother. Let me get myself out this mud. I would say to you, man, you better leave me alone. Because see, I want to stay in that thing. I want to stay in that thing. And because we don't do this enough. There shouldn't be a person who's sad or stressed out over a long period of time in the African American community. Because we should all be talking like we're talking now, trying to help people overcome these terrible situations.
Number 9, encouragement inspires people to reach their goal. I'll let you take that one. I'm going to piggyback off of.
Yeah, because check this out, Chazz. Let's just use you as an example. If you say, you know what, I want to be a broadcaster, and you start doing it, and everything is going well, and then for some reason, you stop doing it. Well, when I come around, I'm going to say, Chazz, what happened to you wanting to be a broadcaster? Oh, I ain't even about that. Then I'm going to say, no, man, you still good, man. Why don't you keep going? What's the problem? So I'm going to try to talk you back into it so you can reach your goal. See, that's what I want to build you up. I want to put you on top of the mountain. I don't want to pull you down. And all these negative ends. I'm it, man. There's too many negative ends, man. And we got to stop that because it's just too much. And this goes on in our families, man. I'm not talking about outsiders because they're going to do it. I'm talking about people in our own family, man. We know that there are goals that we're trying to reach. And then we know these goals. But and then sometimes we'll even say, when you say to me, John, man, I'm not going to be that sportscaster. Then I'll say, yep, I knew it anyway. You wasn't going to be anything. So you see, this is the kind of mindset that has to be busted, as Sister Sharon said. It has to be broken up, man.
Yeah, it has to. And once again, once you get to those goals that you're trying to reach, we do need encouragement, because here's the thing. Sometimes you may be trying to pay for something like in college, and you see that you hit a hard time and you can't really pay all that loan and all that stuff back. So to motivate you, you don't want to do anything. You want to lay in bed, close the curtains, and not want to do anything. But like you said, when you need that individual that's going to push you up and say, you know what? Yeah, you may be down, but you can get out of this hole. It may take you a few years, but you don't want to just let all that debt pile up and not do anything about it. But you can still overcome those terrible trials. Brother Raven fires in here. He says, praise a person for the good things they do before you criticize them. Make a person more receptive. And that is something that is not really talked about a lot. You know, we're quick to criticize somebody, but never give them no credit. A man could be shining, and a man or a woman shouldn't be doing things to shine, but a man or a woman could be shining, and it'll get ignored. It'll get glossed over. And as soon as he has a hiccup, they are quick to throw him under the mud, quick to throw him under the bus, quick to just drag him and his family's reputation through the mud. And that's not fair. And like this brother is saying, we need to actually start giving people more positive words and good words for them to hear, instead of always quick to jump down their throat.
And this is right here what Raymond is saying. This is to us. It's to us as a people, because we should be more encouragers. All of us should be. We should be looking for people to encourage, like we look for people to criticize. We look for people to dog out. We should be looking for people to encourage, because all of us are going through so much. Many of our family members are stuck. Many of our family members are in a rut. So we need to be there so that we can be those bright lights to say, hey, we know that what you're dealing with is tough. We're not saying it's not happening, but we want to be encouragers. I would love to be known when I leave this earth. I would love for people to say, that was one thing about Jahi, man. He always was an encourager. But I don't want people to say that no good, rotten son of a gun. All he did was critique people, talked about people. He thought he knew everything. You couldn't tell him anything. You know, and it goes on and on. And see, I gotta say this, Chazz, and I'm gonna leave it alone, because one day we're gonna have to do something about the ego. We got to do something about the ego, because that's terrible. We let that thing out of the box every day, and we don't realize it because we don't want to be told we're wrong.
Yeah,
we don't like that.
I don't think you should. And that's crazy that you said that, because I listened to a brother today on YouTube. He had a 40-minute video. I'm not going to really go on and on about what he was talking about, but you can hear and you could feel the ego, just because he had superior knowledge in this certain area, and he had so much ego and pride oozing from the screen. And I'm looking, I'm like, bruh, you need to relax and check. I mean, this dude had so much ego, and I think we should do something on that, because I even got if a person is living or acting like that, that's going to offend you. Heck, I almost got offended.
Yeah. And see, a lot of us, and we're going to say this is the last thing we'll say about that, because the broadcast is about encouragement, but it ties in. But that ego, man, that's the reason that a lot of us don't want to encourage each other, because we don't know what the ego is doing to us. We don't know what that I inside of us that we call I, that's a monster, man. And no one has taken the time out to break it down and kind of give some principles, well, how we can deal with it, because it takes a wise man or woman to say, you know what? All these years I was wrong. What you just said, I'm going to investigate, but it sounds good. I think you got a point there. But nope, we're going to stick to what we know. We want everybody in the room to think we're the sharpest knife in the drawer. We want everybody to think we're the top dog, the HNIC. We want everyone to think we have all the answers. We want everyone to think that we know it all. And this is what has destroyed us. And our kids are following in our footsteps. And many of us can't see that we need to start telling people, you know what? I was wrong, Chazz. I was wrong for what I was thinking. We never say those kind of things. That's why we don't want to encourage each other, because that's problematic.
Yeah. Sister Barbara, she fires in here. She says some people will put you down and completely ignore one's efforts when they're always taking and not willing to take action, and encouraging them to show their appreciation. I'll let you. Okay. And then she says now instead of not. Okay. She made a mistake, but I'll let you take her comment and I'll piggyback off of it.
She says some people will put you down. They won't only put you down. They will kick you in the teeth. They will try to bury you. Some people will do everything they can to malign your name. They will completely ignore your effort when you're doing something good. They always taken from people. These are the manipulators. These are the mass murderers mentally in the mind. These are the people that are so suave and slick. These are the people that have played con games all their lives till now they're adults, and they know how to shake the groove thing, and they know how to get over on people. They know how to use flowery words to make you feel good. These are the scums of the earth, is what she's saying without saying it. These are the people that always take. They never give. They always take. They don't ever want to encourage people. They don't even want to show their appreciation. They won't even say to people like you or me and others, they won't say, you know what, Chazz? I appreciate you. We never say that to people. We always dogging people out. Black men and black women, and we're not talking about all of us. So don't sit there, those who are out there thinking that everybody's in the same boat. We're not saying everybody, although we don't have to keep saying all. Many of us, Chazz, we never say those words, I appreciate you, because we're too busy trying to get something from somebody. We're too busy trying to down somebody. We're too busy trying to screw somebody over. So this is a perfect comment. And you know, they say, well, do unto others, and before they do unto others, it says, as you will have them do unto you. But that's not true. Let's rephrase that. Do unto others and then split before they get you back. It's the new verse right there, Chazz. That's the new verse, man.
Absolutely. Number 10. Encouragement builds stronger friendships and relationships. Exactly. In the relationship part, because I know a lot of, like we keep saying, these podcasts on YouTube and all these Spotify and all these places, everybody's tearing down the black man, and the black woman is tearing them down, and all these relationships, vice versa. So you need somebody to step in and say, okay, enough of this noise, even though they may be saying this on these podcasts, but we can't take all this to heart, because a lot of this, what I found out, is rage bait, where a lot of these people are saying all this stuff and trying to get you all fired up just to get you angry. And it's all an act. It's all fake. It's all to keep the viewers drawn in. And if you don't have this kind of discernment to see through that, you'll actually start walking around repeating some of the same stuff they saying, and some of it is really nonsense. So that's why I would say encouragement is a key, crucial part in building relationships, because a lot of these podcasters, they're doing a good job at causing division.
Well, I want to tell y'all a story, and I promise I want to cut to the chase. I'm not going to give the long version. I'm going to just edit it real quick. But I go to the gym every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I work out. Okay, and I'm not boasting. I'm just being real. I don't do much, but I do enough. But there's a guy there that I would speak to him, and every now and then we would hold a little conversation. But today I was working out. I had only been there like 15 minutes because I normally do about an hour. He touched me on my shoulder. I looked back. So he sat down on the other workbench in front of me. So he started talking. And as he started talking, man, I almost felt like crying because he kept going on about his life. So then he finally said, well, you know what, Ja? He said, man, I'm so sorry because I'm messing up this time. You ain't even been working out. I'm so sorry. I said, no, man, you don't have to be sorry. Friendships are more important than lifting a weight. I can always come here and lift weights. I do this all the time. But what you're talking about is important. You should have seen his face, man. Basically, what he was saying to me is he just needed a friend, man. He just needed somebody to listen to him. He said, Jahi, and he was apologetic, and I kept telling him, you don't have to apologize. But see, most of us, when somebody talks to us and we doing something like working out, we just keep working out while they talk. Yeah. We're not even listening to them. We're just trying to get them reps in. We're trying to do something. But all the man wanted was to build a stronger friendship. And I appreciate that, because a lot of us, man, we don't know what friendship and relationships is. We don't know what they are, I should say, because many of us don't know how to encourage one another. And that's why it is.
Wow. Well, I hope your friend is doing better. But like you said, that sounds like he's really going through a lot. And that's good that you took the time out and to mingle with him instead of just brushing him off and kicking him to the curb. Good job on your part. Number 11, encouragement helps people make better decisions. Yeah, because sometimes, for example, some people who are financially stable, they may be trying to buy a house or a car. And sometimes you may have some insight on them saying, no, brother, I know you may want this car, but look, this is what's really going on with it. Or just because it's a certain model, you shouldn't get that because this is what's really going on with it. That kind of encouragement. And you're telling them out of love. You're not doing it out of being cocky or trying to be braggadocious, but you're constantly trying to give them encouragement not to make the wrong decision. And that will help that person make a better decision if they're willing and if they don't take everything so personal.
Yeah. You know, Chaz, if one person said, you know what, I got a decision to make, and they told you, and you said, oh man, this will be good, man. Don't give up. This is a better decision. You start giving them insight. Then they came to me and I said the same thing. You know what, brother or sister, this might be a good thing. Then they went to about 15 other people and everybody said the same thing as far as encouraging them. They're probably going to make the right decision because everybody's encouraging them. But what happens, Chaz, is the first few people, they put them down. They rate them, they belittle them, and then they get frustrated and then they make the wrong decision. But if a lot of us made the right decisions by way of listening to those who are wise and those who are weighing everything out, they would help you make better decisions, because you would say, everybody I talk to, all my friends, you know, they saying the same thing. They're giving me facts, they're giving me reasons, they're analyzing this thing. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and make this decision, which is the better decision. We don't do that, man, because everybody wants to tell somebody what to do when if it was them. It's not you or me, it's what they're saying.
Well said. Number 12, encouragement helps people discover their talents and abilities, especially for the youth. When you have a child and this is their first time playing football, soccer, what have you, of course they're going to be clumsy. Of course they're going to be not coordinated. Of course they're going to be probably terrible. But you can't add on to that and say, you're no good, you ain't going to be nothing, you sorry. It's not about that. And in fact, some of us take it too personal to where we think that these little kids that we put in soccer, that they're Ronaldo. We think that they're these superstars when they're just doing it to get some exercise, and we have to build them up and tell them, you still are talented. No matter what that coach tells you, you still are a good player, no matter what your friends may say. But see, the problem is, once again, as soon as they start cutting up or not producing the way we think that they should, because we've spent all this money and we put them and spending all our gas getting them there, we start tearing them down. And that is a terrible way to put for a kid to be in, especially when it's their first time doing something.
This broadcast can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock on the East Coast and the Midwest. Brothers and sisters, encouragement can help people discover their talents and abilities. I want to say this to the adults now, because I know you harped on the children, and you're right about kids and their talents and abilities. But a lot of us adults, we still have talents and abilities. See, we didn't got old and cold. We didn't got old and stale. And we don't want to do anything. We just want to sit around, drink coffee, watch social media, you know, scroll on our phone, talk about on the phone, talk about people, looking at our phone, scrolling, trying to see what's the latest fad. But you still have talents and abilities. Go to the trash can, lift up the trash can, the top of it, and look in there, and I bet you'll find your talents and abilities. What I'm saying is this: you've thrown your talents and abilities in the trash can for social media. Many of us adults, we are some good. You are good. You got a lot of talents. Some of us can do a lot of things, but because we're too busy doing other things, we don't even look at our own selves. We want to encourage kids. You can do it, kid. You can do it. What about you? You can do it too. You're not too old to develop your talents and your abilities until you leave this earth. So I just want to encourage the adults, stop throwing your talents and abilities in the trash can and start doing. You know you're good at something, but you won't do it. You won't do it. So I want to encourage you to do it.
Yep. Well said. And now here's the thing, and this is not coming from a cocky perspective. If you've known, for example, you played a guitar for so many years or whatever you did, even if you don't get that encouragement, like we said earlier, encourage yourself, because I know there's certain things that I'm good at. People may not never tell me, but I got to always look within myself to say, you know what, even if nobody never tells me I'm a good guitarist, I know that I'm good, not being cocky, but to keep myself level-headed so I don't slip into a deep depression. Number 13, encouragement creates hope when situations seem difficult. I'll let you take that one as I piggyback real quick.
Yeah, hope is something that people give to other people when they don't feel that they can do it. Okay, it's something that they give to people to let them know, hey, you still have a chance of doing it. See, that's what hope is. Hope is beautiful, you see, but when there's no encouragement, hope dries up, hope dies, hope is thrown out the window, hope is kicked into you know what. So what I'm saying is, when we encourage people, it'll create hope, because now we're going to say, you know what? At first, I never thought of doing this, but because you keep telling me and encouraging me and giving me some good insight, I know that I can get through this difficult time. I know that I can get through this tough time. I know that things are bad, and I'm not putting them things on a pedestal to say that they're not bad. They are really bad, but I know I can get through it because hope says it's not going to always be like this. Hope says get up and keep going. Hope says no matter whether people say it to you or not, encourage yourself from the inside. This is what hope does. So, brothers and sisters, we're just trying to encourage you today. That's all we're talking about today is we're just encouraging people. I know this broadcast seems weird because we're so busy looking at broadcasts that's giving you statistics, they're giving you knowledge, they're giving you insights on the pyramids, and that's fine. They're giving you all this stuff about the weather and the atom, and that's fine. They're giving you all this sports, all this religion, and all this what to do. All we're saying, this is a beautiful thing because we need more of what we're talking about, which is encouraging one another when things seems different.
And I just want to give encouragement for the previous one to the felons. A lot of us, and I'm not one, but I'm just saying for the people who are felons that may tune into this broadcast in the future, even now, is yes, you made a terrible decision. Yes, you got locked up. Yes, you did something that was heinous, but you still have hope. And don't get discouraged because I already know once you get out of prison, you're not going to be able to have a good job. You're going to get paid little or nothing. You're going to be discriminated against. And then especially if you got tattoos, these companies aren't going to want to look at you. So for that individual that is a felon, keep pushing through. Even if you have to go to Denny's or IHOP, go there. Hopefully something will work out. But the problem is once our brothers, especially in the African-American community, once they create a felony, they lose all hope because nobody wants to hire them. People look at them under eye, and it's just a terrible, terrible spot to be in. So for my thing right here on number 13 is hope and encouragement to felons. Yes, you made a mistake. Try to keep your nose clean, push through it, and still look for a job because I know once you become a felon, these jobs are only going to limit you to, I believe, $7.25 an hour, and that's still a shame and a disgrace.
Jay, you just opened up a Pandora's box. We only have about 10 minutes, and I just thought of something that I got to say. I must say it because you started this, so I got to finish it. What I want to say to women, when you have let's say you meet a man, and we know how the system is set up, and you say that you and this man going to live forever together, and it doesn't work that way, and you end up having 1, 2, 3 children. So now you think that you're a failure. You think that your life is wasted because you have children. Your life is not wasted. I want to encourage you, do the best that you can, even if that man is not doing what he's supposed to do, and vice versa, if that's the case. Or you in a relationship and you thought this was the one and she told you at the last moment, I really don't love you. So now you're ready to go jump off a bridge. I'm saying that stuff hurts, man. All that stuff hurts. But I want you to keep going, sisters, no matter what. I don't care how many kids you have. You're not a failure because you have children. You're a failure if you don't take care of your children when the no good person that's supposed to help you not taking care of your children. So what we're saying is there's so many things we could talk about, but that's just something to the sisters because a lot of people look at this woman, they'll say, how many kids she got? 3? Oh, man, they stair steppers, man. She ain't going to turn out to be anything. That's not true. Who are you? Who am I to say what they're going to turn out to be? You just help them. And if they don't have what they need, instead of griping about it, help them. Because a lot of people need help, man. Encourage these sisters and also encourage the brothers who's just having it tough, like you said, with the felons.
Absolutely. That was a good one on your part as well. Number 14, encouragement pushes people to grow and improve themselves, especially when they're lacking in certain skills. Encouraging them to go back to school, encouraging them to become better at exercise, encouraging them to drink more water, have a better diet, take supplements. All these things are encouragement. And we have to tell people this because, once again, we've been so bogged down in life. We got all this stuff coming at us from up, down, left, right, all over. And we don't know how to improve ourselves. So when we get that word of encouragement, it's not to say that we know everything or to put them down. It's because we do need someone to help improve our lives in a certain situation or a certain area. Sister Barbara Fires in here. She says, will you announce the production?
Yeah, she's talking about the play that I've written called Broken Glass, and that ties right in here what we're talking about encouragement, because a lot of us have been abused, Chazz. A lot of us have been abused, and abuse comes in many facets. Abuse comes in you can be mentally abused, you can be sexually abused, you can be neglected, which is a form of abuse, you can be psychologically abused, you can be emotionally abused, and that's what this play Broken Glass is about. And next week, we'll put up some images to show you. But all she's wanting me to do is to just say this production is going to take place June the 6th at Highlands High School Auditorium in San Antonio, Texas. You can support us if you like, even if you're not in the city and you want to support us, you can support us. So basically all we're trying to get you to see is we're talking about real live things. And the play is also about encouragement, because at the end of the day, all of our situations are different and we're all going through something, but we need encouragement, because in some of these instances in this production, everybody doesn't always do the right thing. It's not always the ending is a happy ending. Sometimes it's sad. Sometimes it's miserable. Sometimes it's detestable. But all we're saying, don't allow that to be your story. And I shouldn't allow that to be my story. But I thank the sister for pulling my shirt tail on that one, or coat tail, as they say, to just kind of say a little bit about that.
Brother Raven's stepping on some shoes here, but we're going to read his comment. I appreciate it. Brother Ray says, tell a felon, Trump is a 34-time felon and a president, so it's possible for you to be successful person regardless of being a felon. That's absolutely true. I mean, a lot of us, despise this man, talking about Trump and some of the things he's done, but it is a shame to where you can be a felon and still be a president and don't have to worry about jail time. You got all your money, you flying, doing all these speeches. It is terrible, but like he's saying, use Trump, I guess, as motivation.
Well, don't use him too much of motivation, because let's be honest, if you're an African American and you have 34 felons, that we ain't talking about you. If you're African American and you don't have that kind of money that this man has, so I get what you're saying. As far as us being felons, we should encourage him, but that's a terrible example to use. I know he's trying to be facetious, because this man is beyond. He is beyond a person. He's beyond the ideal of humanity. So what I'm saying is, when you have money and you're European and you manipulate the system and you do the things he's done all his life, you can do that. But most of us, we're not like that. We don't have that kind of setup. So
like you said, with 34 felonies for a black man, you're going to be sleeping under the doggone cell.
Sister Bibi, she was saying looking for, but she was saying she's looking forward to coming to the play in San Antonio. So that's a good thing. She's willing to travel from Indianapolis, Indiana, to fly all the way down to San Antonio, Texas, to be a part of a major production. So we appreciate that, because she didn't have to do it, but that shows again that she's a very positive person, and that she's encouraging us to continue to do what we do. Yeah,
for all the people, if you have the extra funds, go ahead. What you saying? I'm sorry.
I said, did we do this one already? Encouragement pushes. Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, so we already did that. Number 15, encouragement helps people feel valued. Once again, a lot of us do feel less valued. We think we're nothing. We think we're garbage. The system, everything is pointing to us being looked at as basically nothing or garbage. So encouragement does help us, because we're so used to hearing it. Once these kind words marinate in us, it is going to help us feel valued. Now, we may not be valued from the aspect of where we're making a lot of money, or we got a good job or a high-end job, but encouragement helps us from the aspect with our self-esteem, man, because our self-esteem right now is in the toilet and it is shot.
Yeah, and a lot of us feel like worms, man. We feel lower than a worm. We don't see the value of our humanity, because for so many years we've been put down and ostracized and kicked to the curb, and that has psychologically affected us. So now we feel worse than a piece of what. We feel terrible, and nothing can get it out of us but encouragement, because that's where it starts. You're not a piece of what. You're not a lowlife. You're not a worm. You're a beautiful person. You're a very positive person. You're a powerful person, but you must tap within and bring that out, so that nobody can put that back in you, because the system has done that. Our families do that. Our friends do that. Our loved ones do that. Our enemies do that. But we're saying that you don't have to be that way, because you're a wonderful person. We just want to encourage you, to let you know that you are very valuable. No matter what you have, no matter what you don't have, you are very, very valuable.
Number 16, encouragement helps people feel appreciated. Exactly, because a lot of us go years without getting compliments, once again, unless it's at a funeral, but you can't hear that because the person is passed. But while we're alive, you don't get these compliments. So once you get these compliments in real life, in real daytime, you do feel encouraged, and it does help your self-esteem. And Brother Ray fires in here. He says, I appreciate the broadcast and will share it from YouTube. We appreciate you, Brother Ray. He always is sharing it.
Yeah, that's encouragement right there. See, that's encouragement. Even though he's not saying that I take that as an encouragement. He's telling us he appreciates the broadcast so much that he's going to share it. So he's encouraging us, because if he didn't want to share it or he didn't think enough of it, he wouldn't share it. So that means that maybe he doesn't care enough about it. So again, this broadcast has always been about today encouragement. Black people need encouragement. Brown people need encouragement, because we are the ones who are always kicked in the teeth. Our children are kicked in the teeth. All of the people that we know that look like us, we have a lot going on, and a lot of it is not our fault. It's systematic, but yet we have to continue to talk like we're talking now. Give people hope, give people love, give people life again. And this is what happens, brothers and sisters, when you look at a broadcast that talks about how we should encourage one another, what encouragement is, what it isn't. We got to do something about what it isn't, because a lot of the stuff we think is encouragement is pretty much somebody trying to be slick or trying to put you down on the slide, but they'll say they're encouraging you. So again, we appreciate this brother for giving us this encouragement, because, you know, sometimes we don't want to do this broadcast, but it's encouragement like that that makes us say, man, let's come back stronger than ever next week.
Yeah, especially with all the difficulties we've been having with the last couple of weeks with getting this thing together. It does get frustrating and tiresome. Sister Mashonda says, you're not a worm, but a butterfly. Okay.
I
Words of
appreciate
encouragement.
That. Yeah, I want to start using that too, because I hear that the worm part so much, you know, a worm. Yeah. So now let's a worm stays low to the ground and always, you know, eating the crap that's on the ground. But a butterfly flies above all of that. So that was very profound right there, and very sagacious, as I always say. But this has been a wonderful broadcast, Chazz. We're in the overtime now, so we're going to sign off, man. But we'll come back next week, because we should be able to talk about encouragement until the cows come home. Yeah. We should be able to. We can talk about sports. We could talk about politics. We could talk about religion. We could talk about relationships. We could talk about all these other things. But brothers and sisters, we need to start talking about encouraging each other more and more, because we need it, Chazz. It's about what the world needs now is love, sweet love. That was a song back in the day, and that's true. But what the world needs now more of is encouragement. Yeah. Encourage somebody, brothers and sisters. So when they say, why are you encouraging me? Say, I saw that on Adults Only, Real Conversations with Chazz and Jahi. I'm gonna put that in my mind now. I'm gonna start going around encouraging people. I'm not gonna be beating people up or beating them down. I'm gonna start encouraging them. Just like Sister Mashonda, she says, Shem Hotep. She's encouraging us. She's encouraging us in peace. In other words, she's saying, go in peace. That's an encouragement, man. And that's what we really need, Chazz. So I've said enough today, but boy, you've been cooking today. You really have been cooking a lot. So
like we said, we haven't been on for a few weeks, so it's good to actually be back. It seems like the broadcast went smoothly today. Our audio was clear, so I'm glad that I think we fixed it. I hope we fixed it. But today was an important video or broadcast about encouragement. You know, society, the news, all these places have tore us down. We don't have any hope. Some of us who still have loved ones around, they're saying that we're nothing. We're not going to be anything. So we don't have a clear avenue that's telling us these good thoughts or telling us these positive things. We need this. And once again, especially in the African American community, this is a good place to get this information from, because a lot of these broadcasters, like we mentioned earlier, they're not going to help. They're not going to actually give you any words of encouragement. All they're going to do is tear us down, say that we're going to be nothing but another statistic, and not really give us any positive encouragement. So once again, I appreciate you for having me on, and hopefully next week we can pick this thing back up with some clear audio.
Okay, well, thank you guys, and we'll see y'all next week. So listen to the song as it goes off, and hopefully next week we'll continue to talk about encouragement. We love y'all, and just keep us on your radar, because this is some good stuff. You don't want to miss it.
Take care.